Within 1 month, I quit my job. I bought a course on how to start a digital marketing agency. I broke up with my girlfriend and I moved to Brazil with about $10,000 saved up. I took the risk. I believed in myself. I invested in myself. And now about 2 years later, we've got a team of about 25 people. We're editing 4,000 videos a month. We're at 75K MRR and we're just getting started. Hey guys, I'm Evan Cassidy. I'm the founder of Boomin Brands Media. We're a 7-figure video editing agency. I've been at it for a while. I've been starting and scaling different businesses over the last 8 years, and I've learned a lot along the way. I've had a lot of failures. I've tried multiple different types of businesses, and a lot of them haven't been very successful. But each one of those, I've learned a lot. The goal of this channel is to be an open book. I want to let you know everything that I've learned over these last 8 years of failed businesses, of successes, of failures and triumphs, and just lay it out on the table. And if you can learn one thing that can propel you forward a little bit, maybe it'll help you close your next deal. Maybe it'll help you figure out your next offer. Maybe it'll help you skip a whole section that you don't have to go through. That's my goal, right? I want at least one person to take something away from this that makes their life, either personal or business life, better. I'm gonna be as open and transparent as possible. We're gonna talk about numbers. We're gonna talk about team members. We're gonna talk about everything that goes into running $1 million a year business. Since a young age, I had always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I was in Cub Scouts and we used to go door to door selling popcorn. I was always at the top of the list. I always sold the most popcorn, got the most prizes. But that was just the start, so I always had in the back of my mind that entrepreneurship and being the master of your own freedom, of your own life, was very, very appealing to me. But honestly, it took me a long time to get there, maybe longer than most people. It took me about 5 years of my entrepreneurial journey to get to my first 10K month. But after that, it was an exponential journey. So that just goes to show, the work happens in the beginning. That's the hardest part. And I'll go more into the story of my origin and how that started. There were so many times when I thought about getting another job, when I thought about throwing in the towel. My parents had always been supportive to me, but there were times when they came to me too. They're like, Evan, you're in debt right now, right? You're living in our basement. You're not making money. I think it's time that you get a job. And I could have very easily listened to that, right? They're my parents, they should be right. But no, I kept at it, I kept failing. And then finally, I started hitting my stride of success. So it's all about perseverance, right? That's a huge, huge word when it comes to being an entrepreneur. It's just keeping at something, even though when it seems like everything's against you, even though when it seems like you're hitting L after L, keeping at that, having faith that if you keep showing up, if you keep being the best version of yourself, learning something new, trying to add value to people, trying to add value to the market, you're gonna figure it out. You're going to get there. My entrepreneurship story really started in college. So I was fortunate enough to go to college. I played 2 seasons of football, a year of lacrosse. My whole life was sports up until then. That was my #1 focus. And after playing 3 seasons of college sports, contact college sports, I ended up getting way too many concussions. So I got 4 concussions in 1 year. And that last concussion just really hit me hard. I realized that I knew I'm not gonna make it to the NFL. I'm not gonna be making money playing sports. So it was time to protect my brain and time to go focus on other things. So I ended up stopping sports. I transferred colleges. I went to University of Vermont. And that's where my shift from spending most of my time and energy in sports to most of my time and energy in business, in learning, really started. And it was this class called Dollar Enterprise. It was a big class, there was 100 people in there. The teacher broke us off into different groups and she gave us $1. And the whole point of the class was to start a business with $1 and see what team could gain the most money from that $1. And that just lit off a fire in me. I became the group leader, right? I started working with my different connections. One of my buddies had a sticker printing press. So I went to him and I'm like, hey man, can you help me design some stickers, print a bunch of stickers for us, front me the stickers. I've got this team, we're gonna go set up booths on campus and sell these stickers and we'll pay you in 3 days. And even though we were selling stickers for $1, $2, it wasn't much money, but it just showed me that with an idea, you can create value in the market. You can create something that somebody is gonna buy and make a business out of it. So over like a month and a half, we made like 500 bucks, right? So we turned $1 into $500, and then we donated all that money to charity. But that just lit off a fire in me. And I just looked for whatever startup I can get involved in, different internship opportunity that I could have. I ended up partnering with this guy who started a ride sharing service before Uber at University of New Hampshire. It was called Campus Rides. It was an application where we would recruit drivers, and it was all based on tips. And I essentially brought that to Vermont. So I started the Vermont chapter of that, the second chapter. We did over 2,000 rides. That as well didn't gain much money. That was based all on tips because we didn't have any sort of way to monetize it. There were some regulations around that. But going from recruiting the drivers to finding the people to actually use the app through guerrilla marketing, I would literally go around campus for hours and just hand out flyers and talk to people and grow our Facebook page. That was significant because that was one of the first like real businesses that I was involved with and that I helped create that chapter and learned a lot from it, right? That wasn't like, didn't get rich off that, but got a lot of experience. So to really like bring that back down to ground level, the most important part of those kind of origin stories, those first entry into entrepreneurship that I learned is you just got to start with something. It's so easy to get stuck into analysis paralysis and creating all of these brilliant business ideas in your minds, but then also coming up with all sorts of excuses for why you're not going to start them, for why they're not going to work out. What I've learned is just take massive action no matter what it is, especially in the beginning, because chances are your first business isn't going to be a success. You're not going to hit it out of the park for your first business. You need to fall, you need to fail, because every single time you do that, you learn and you can take that experience into your next business. So by now I've probably started over 10 different businesses, right? Most of them have been failures. But each business got a little bit better. I learned a little bit more. And that's what it's all about, right? It's being okay with failure. That comes with starting businesses, that comes with creating content, that comes with relationships, having a mindset where we know we're not perfect, but we know that we show up and we try every single day. So those are some of the things that I'm gonna instill into this channel and into this process. I'm gonna be totally upfront and open where we're at today, 75K MRR. And our goal is to scale this to a $5 million company. Speaking of taking massive action, the biggest change of my entrepreneurial journey was when I went from being a wagee, from working for somebody else, to taking that first leap of faith and going out on my own. This happened when I was 26 years old. I'd been working in software sales in Boston for 3 years. So I worked my way up. I started as an outbound BDR. So I was ripping 100 cold calls a day, booking meetings for other people. I got promoted to account executive, so I was closing business. And I saw my life flash before my eyes. I saw what my life would look like if I kept in this role. I would get a promotion. I would get married. I would move to the suburbs, have a family. I would live this very, very decent but mediocre life. And that's not what I wanted. So I ended up making a huge shift and taking a huge risk where within 1 month, I quit my job. I bought a course on how to start a digital marketing agency. I broke up with my girlfriends and I moved to Brazil with about $10,000 saved up. And I just threw myself to the fire. And I told myself, I'm either gonna make it or I'm gonna lose all of my money and I'm gonna be coming back to the United States with the tail between my legs. And that was 8 years ago. Since then, I haven't worked for anybody else. The first business that I started was a LinkedIn lead generation agency. So coming from a software world, we used LinkedIn a lot to get meetings, get deals. I essentially went and offered this service to other software companies. I learned a lot from this business. I was making $2,500 a month, but I was only working 5 hours a week. And this was during a time in my life which is completely different than today. My priorities at this time in life were more partying, girls, experiencing. I thought I had made it, right? I was living in Brazil where you can live very comfortably off $1,000 per month. I was making $2,500 per month, working 5 hours a week, living on the beach. And I just kind of burned myself to the ground. I prioritized my social life over the business, and that wasn't sustainable, right? But I realized that with systems and with leverage, you can create value and you can create massive margins. So my cost on that was only about $300 a month. So I was profiting very, very well. But I ended up kind of burning that whole time of my life to the ground. I came back to Vermont. The business, like I lost a client, right? I was maybe making around $1,000 a month. And I'm like, all right, I got to figure something out. I want to keep this entrepreneurship journey. I've got to kind of start from scratch. And I ended up starting a house painting business because that is a line of work that I grew up doing. My father had some apartments, so I used to work on the apartments. And I essentially went back to good old manual labor. And I started a house painting company. And I hired some buddies. I started advertising. And next thing you know, we're doing all sorts of these big jobs where you can get $10, $15, $20,000 per job. That kind of gave me some fresh life, right? That gave me some money in the bank, right? A little bit more confidence that, hey, instead of making like $2,500 a month, hey, I can start making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month profit. And it's part of the journey, right? So if you ever are at a point in your life where maybe this business that you're working on isn't working for some reason, you've been at it for a little while, there's something, product market fit isn't there, don't be afraid to go and just keep the lights on. Do whatever you can to make sure that you can keep your entrepreneurship journey alive, that you can pay your bills, that you can survive. And so I did that for about a summer. And then I dove back into the agency life, right? I had some money in the bank. I ended up moving to Southeast Asia. I started more of a social media management agency where we were doing some content creation, social media management for different clients. And that went all right? Again, I still wasn't in that mindset of just like focusing all of my time and energy on the business. And what I've realized from that, the first few businesses, right, because they didn't scale really over $10,000 a month, is that especially when starting off, you really need to give it your all, 110% into your business for at least the first year. I got a little taste of the good life of living the digital nomad life, living in these beautiful places with surfing and partying and girls. And that took up too much of my life. And I realized that going back, right, you need to set yourself up into an environment with your social circle, with your routine, with your work-life balance environment where you can be prioritizing the business that first year, that first 2 years. So during my travels and my different experiences, I created a TikTok account and I just started making organic content. I just started posting about personal development, about sobriety because I'd stopped drinking altogether, about leveling up. And I got some traction, right? I had some viral videos. I started creating a community. I grew that to about 20,000 followers. And then I thought, oh, I have all these followers. I have 25,000 followers. I can definitely monetize this, right? I can make some money from this. So I ended up launching a clothing brand, a print-on-demand shirt and sweatshirt and hat company. And with all these hopes and dreams of monetizing this and leveraging this audience, I made about $50 from that. So that just goes to show me that followers and views doesn't mean anything, right? It's about the trust that you have with your audience. And then it's about converting that trust into value. And that was just like a little side project. My next real agency after that was a full service agency. We started as a full service agency. I went into business with my partner who had a lot of experience. And we started as a full service doing websites, doing marketing. And we started getting a lot of clients in the real estate space, right? We started getting a couple brokerages as clients, a couple realtors. And that pretty quickly pivoted into a real estate video marketing agency. Where we were doing some house tours, we were doing different funnel videos, different social media content for these realtors. And this was right before the pandemic. We had this good upward momentum going. When the pandemic hit, everything shut down for a sec and we got scared. We didn't know what was gonna happen. So we ended up pivoting to creating a course to teach realtors and brokers how to film their own videos on social media. We spent about 9 months building this course. We made a very rigorous curriculum. We scripted all these videos. We filmed these videos. We put so much time and effort in creating this course. But as we were doing that, we weren't building an audience and we weren't getting ongoing feedback from the market. So when we went to launch this course, we realized, oh, we don't have much of anything of an audience, right? We actually haven't gotten a whole lot of feedback from people if this is something that they actually want to buy. And so we went to launch it and there was a boom. We got one client. And so it was all this work for one client. Then we went and we partnered with a local broker that we knew to give us some credibility in the space. And so we started picking up more traction. We started selling more courses and getting more clients. And we discovered a new need of all of these realtors had videos, right? They were creating videos, we're teaching them how to make videos, how to script, how to shoot, but they needed somebody to edit them. So then I went and I created the editing system. So I went and I created an editing portal, right? We hired our first editor. We created this productized editing system, which makes it really easy for them to shoot some content, upload it to the editing portal, and then get finished videos ready to post. And after about 3 years with that last business, 2 business partners in, we scaled that to about 15K a month, which wasn't much, right? It's not enough for 3 people to eat off. And I was ready to go off and do my own thing. So I essentially left that business. I took the video editing system that I had built out in that last business and I spun that off into Boomin Brands Media. And that's where we're at today. I've had Boomin Brands Media for about 2 years now, right? We started with my kind of infrastructure, an idea, and a dream. And I went all in on that. Again, I had this dream of moving down to Medellín, meeting other entrepreneurs on a similar journey, scaling this new video editing agency. When I moved down to Medellín, this was 2 years ago, I was only making $800 a month. So I had one client, but I had a dream. I had some debt from the last business because we were just investing so much into this business. I was just like, not making a whole lot of money, but just investing in this dream. So I had about $20,000 worth of debt. And in order to give me the runway to take this next step in this video editing agency, get rid of my debt, give me some runway, I ended up selling my rental property. So I had acquired a rental property over the years. It was a two unit, right? It was cash flowing me a little bit a month, but that was my retirement. That was kind of my entrepreneurial retirement. But I had the vision, I had the confidence in myself that if I just kept going, right? If I just kept going and gave myself another shot, that I would make it. So I sold that property, I paid off my debt, I moved down to Medellín with my business making about $800 a month, and I went all in. I dedicated 12, 14 hours a day to building out this agency, to building the team, the systems in order to scale. I took everything I learned from all of my previous failures and I put that into this business and we started scaling. We went from 800 to 2,000. We went from 2,000 to 5,000 to 7,000. And then I made a decision and I shifted and I pivoted to being a white label video editing agency. I invested the most money I'd ever invested in a coach, which was $8,000. And I pivoted to being a white label video editing agency. And I built out the systems, the marketing, the funnels, and then things really started taking off. Right after investing in that coach, the next month we did 14,000. The month after that, we did 22,000. We started experiencing this hockey stick growth, but that's only because I took the risk. That's only because I believed in myself, I invested in myself. And now about 2 years later, we've got a team of about 25 people. We're editing 4,000 videos a month. We're at 75K MRR, and we're just getting started. If you can take anything away from this story, believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to take massive action and take risks. That's what it's all about. I would not be here today if I didn't take risks. And hopefully by watching this YouTube channel, by learning from me, you can skip a lot of the failures that I've had over this time. Like I said, I'm gonna be an open book. I'm excited to share this journey with you as we scale from 75K MRR to 100 to 150 to 200. And I'm gonna show you every single step of the way, what goes through my mind, what I'm working with my team and my offers. And I look forward to taking this journey with you. If you have any questions or if there's anything specifically that you wanna see, comment below and I'll make sure to answer those on the next video.